We are less than a week away from the 2024 NFL Draft actually being here, where you get to see actual picks being taken, and we don't have any more of these rumors or any of these stupid people talking about what teams are going to be drafting what players. And it's all going to be real, and we all get to go on to our next, set of BS of saying who's winning and who's losing the draft. So I'm excited for it. This is one of the best times of the off season. It's kind of like Christmas, so we are going to be doing a 3-round mock draft today, and I'm only doing one trade, and I think it's probably the most obvious trade. But everything else is going to be what I think could happen, and then just a mix of this team kind of needs these sorts of players, and also this might be a BPA kind of pick or best player available kind of pick. So I'm going to burn through what I have done already as the 3-round mock draft. I'm going to try and give as much information as I can without being too boring, I guess, if that makes sense, or just too drawn out, because I know, most people don't want to sit here and, listen to me for 2-3 hours. The real draft, when you go through the 3 rounds, it takes like 4 hours just to get through everything. So I'm going to be burning through these picks. Like I said, I've already done the 3-round mock draft, so that kind of makes it go by just a little bit quicker for us. So I'm going to hop on over to the PFF mock draft simulator, just because I think this is the best interface. Let me scooch over. This is probably the best interface for mock drafting. So obviously, I think everyone and their dog knows right now that Caleb Williams is going to go first to the Chicago Bears. I think that's just, signed, sealed, and delivered. That pick is already made. They're working on pick number 9 right now. I don't think they're even worried about number 1. Number 2, the Washington Commanders. They did take in a bunch of players for their, their top 30 visits. All 30 players on the same day. They, had a good time at Top Golf, I guess. So, cool for them. I don't think it really means a whole lot with who they want to take. I think they already have their pick. And I think for the most part, most likely for their situation, I think they go Jaden Daniels. I personally would go Drake May, and that's where I have the Patriots taking Drake May. Now, the Cardinals, I think, could look at trading out, but I just don't see it, and I think they take Marvin Harrison Jr., and do so with a big smile on their faces. This is where the draft gets weird, because this is where trades are going to happen. I'm going to have to kind of force this trade most likely, but I think this is probably the best trade. The Vikings move up. They take their first round picks, consolidate that, and go into the top 5 and take... Where is this dude? See, like, quarterbacks, they don't go with their, average ranking or whatever. So J.J. McCarthy to the Vikings, I think that top 5 is pretty common for the most part. One thing that I've been kind of just thinking about lately that I think could happen, that could shake up the draft in a major way. I'm going to try and kind of scoot this over just a little bit. Perfect. Okay. I see this as a potential. I don't know why it's just been there for me, is Michael Penix Jr. to the Giants. Obviously they got Daniel Jones. I think they got to move on, honestly. I would not be surprised if they do. And Michael Penix is, he's one of those guys that can get the ball all over across the field. So the Tennessee Titans, a lot of people have them taking Joe Alt. I think that would be great for them. Falcons, I think they take the first defensive player with Dallas Turner, edge rusher out of Alabama. And then this is kind of where the draft really gets interesting. I think 6, 8, and 9 are the most, the top 3 most interesting picks. I think those are the hardest to guess at the moment. I did go with something a little bit different, and you can hate me all you want. But I think Amarius Mims might have the best frame and the best the best, what do you call it, ceiling out of the remaining tackles. Definitely, you can call me crazy. I am expecting that, honestly. I'm not doing this for just the hot take sake of it. But Amarius Mims is just a dude that I feel like doesn't have a lot of tread on tire, but he's got enough experience. He's got enough, tactile, just experience with the position where he could, with the right situation, become this left tackle that you dream of. I really like Marius Mims. I'm going to be higher than most people, and you can attack me for that. I don't really mind that. Though the next pick here for the Jets would be Olu Fashanu. I like that pick because he's going to be able to have flexibility with his position. And then this leads the Chargers to kind of hit this like near 4-team run of tackles. And this is where they go JC Latham. I think they really want to start building up this run game a little bit more just to be less predictable offense. Anyways, the Broncos, though, they do need to just get a quarterback, and Bo Nix kind of seems to be the guy. And this is the farthest I've seen Malik Neighbors and Rome Odunze in any mock draft. So, if I'm the outlier, I'm probably wrong. I'm saying that now. I'm probably wrong. I just see this big run of tackles because the tackles are really good. They can start this year, and it's such a high value premium position for contracts. And so I could see this run of tackles going on super early and getting a lot of really good talents off the board. But that is good news for the rest of these teams that don't need those players, because we got Rome Odunze going to the Las Vegas Raiders, Malik Neighbors being snatched up real quick by the New Orleans Saints. And this brings us to my team, the Colts. I think I've said this a bunch on this channel, but I'm assuming that you probably haven't seen it. I think that Chris Ballard's tendencies are, I think he really wants to have this ultra dominant defensive line. And the real big piece missing from that is your star, alpha edge rusher that can bend the corner, can put a bunch of different moves on these tackles. You can line up on the left or right side. You just put him in a position to win. And I think Leatu Latu is that guy for the Colts at this moment. Okay, so without kind of dead and gone, we have a lot of needs meeting value. Let's see here. Okay, so this is another one that I think it feels like a reach, but because of the type of player he is, I think he's going to be a stellar guard. Graham Barton, tackle out of Duke. The Jacksonville Jaguars take probably the best defensive player off the board, so I'm not screwing over my division rivals. I got Joe Alt, probably the best tackle to the Titans, and Quinion Mitchell, probably the best cornerback, maybe even the best defensive player going to the Jaguars. So I'm not attacking any of my divisional rivals with that. With that being said, the Cincinnati Bengals take the opportunity to take probably the best pass catcher out of this draft, remaining at least, with Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers to me is someone that I feel like you just have a luxury. It's a pick that if you need it, you shouldn't be taking in the first round, just because I feel like if you need it and you're taking it in the first round, I feel like the mojo of the situation isn't going to line up, if that makes sense. But Brock Bowers as a luxury pick at 18 for the Bengals, who have great weapons already. They have very minor needs as far as team construction goes. So taking Brock Bowers in the first round is not a need, but it's definitely a good mix of a fit plus the value. The Los Angeles Rams take Terrion Arnold, cornerback out of Alabama. I think he's a very, very solid corner, and I think he would fit really good with the Rams. With these next few picks, it's going to be another big run on offensive line, just as a forewarning. But maybe not in the exact order that you would imagine. So with the Steelers, I have them taking Troy Fautanu. I like his skill set. I think the Steelers will like his skill set, and I feel like he can just be put in his best position with the Steelers and not forced to be a tackle, left tackle, right tackle, or guard or anything like that. Just find out his best position, because I think he has a higher skill level than a lot of these other offensive linemen, but his size and positioning is just a little bit different. So I think the Steelers would do a great job with him. And obviously wide receiver is a need, corner can be a need, center is definitely a need. You know, Fautanu allows you to do more, in my opinion. The Miami Dolphins go a little bit off of course with the tackles and take Tyler Guyton. I think he is someone that they can build into a better piece. The Philadelphia Eagles here, Jackson Powers Johnson. Obviously, he could play center. They have like 3 players that can play center right now. Landon Dickerson, Jackson Powers Johnson would be another one of them. And then I'm blanking on the guy from Nebraska, but he would be another player that could play center. But all these guys are interior offensive linemen. I think you could potentially move JPJ to right guard, slide in Cam Jurgens, that's the name. Slide in Cam Jurgens to be center, and you have a very, very solid offensive line with a lot of versatility. That leaves the Chargers. They previously got their offensive tackle with JC Latham. My next pick for them is someone that I think fits a different need for the team. With I'm just looking at a different name, Jershawn Newton or Johnny Newton. Now the Cowboys need a tackle to kind of work with their offensive line, kind of get them back up to snuff a little bit here, and they get Talise Fuaga out of Oregon State. It's a great tackle, so good value for them. Here I can see Nate Wiggins off the board to the Green Bay Packers, kind of pair with Jair Alexander. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers landing Jared Verse, the best edge left on the board. The Arizona Cardinals get Byron Murphy, the next best defensive lineman off the board. I think that one just is a good value BPA pick for the Cardinals. They got a ton of picks in the top 100, so I'm gonna kind of use that as a way to let's get best players in. Let's get this team just kind of rebuilt, because they did have a weaker team. Now you're adding, Marvin Harrison Jr., Byron Murphy, 2 phenomenal players on both sides of the ball. One pick that I think is super, chalk at this point right now is Adonai Mitchell to the Bills. I just think that's one that I think fits really good with what they need, but also with the players on the board. So go Adonai Mitchell here, if this thing will let me. Okay, there we go. I don't know why that was working the way that it did. And then the Lions take Cooper DeJean. I think this is a situation where you're getting a high value player that can play cover 3 corner, but also can play safety at a high level. That defense is going to be highly flexible. I don't think you need to pigeonhole Cooper DeJean into one position right away. And you got a lot of wildcats in that DB area, and so you can disguise your looks really, really well with having Cooper DeJean mixed in with Brian Branch, mixed in with, I'm blanking his name, Kirby Joseph, and the slew of corners that they've been adding into that DB room. The Baltimore Ravens, I have taken Brian Thomas Jr. off the board. I think this just really fits with where the board has fallen, with the wide receivers that the Ravens have. He kind of brings in a different skill set, and a lot of high ceiling upside. So that would be a phenomenal pick for the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the two picks that I think I spent probably the most time on in the first round is probably the Niners taking who they're going to be taking. So I was thinking, if I'm the Niners, I'm wanting to take away Xavier Worthy or Lad McConkey from the Chiefs, but I just couldn't put that over taking someone that is going to be a good piece for them in the future. And yeah, I am scrolling down a little bit here. There's no way he's all the way down there. Let me find this dude. Okay, yeah, Kingsley Suamataia. I think he fits a good mold, and the Niners are going to be able to shape that mold into what they want. And I think Kingsley gets a lot of low end first round, high end second round, you know, grading. I think the Niners would be able to put him above some others, but just because they can mold him into what they want, and he has everything that you want to mold. And then this left the Kansas City Chiefs, and this for me was: are we going to give them Xavier Worthy, or are we going to give them? Oh my gosh! Oh yeah, Lad McConkey. I ended up going with Lad McConkey, and the biggest reason why is because cover two and taking away the deep ball has been the way to stop the Chiefs. And part of the reason why I mean, obviously they would have kept what's his face, the cheetah. I'm just blinking on his name. Tyreek. Is it Tyreek? Tyreek Hill. They would have kept him. I mean, obviously they would have kept him, but the reason why it was probably good for him to get out of the town is, one, obviously money, but also they have been just trying to take away that, that the deep end possibility. For me, Xavier Worthy, I don't think makes as big of an impact for the Chiefs as Lad McConkey as a separator with size, with great just understanding where to be on the field with route running, everything. I think McConkey is just a better overall wide receiver, even though Xavier Worthy with Patrick Mahomes kind of gives you those, those like you shake awake kind of nightmares. You're like, oh, not again kind of deal. But I think Lad McConkey would be a better option for the Chiefs. And, with the situations that they have there, I think it's good for them to let's just get a dude. So I think Lad McConkey would be an awesome wide receiver for the Chiefs, very sadly. So I'm going to try and go quicker with these other rounds. Or actually, I'll just kind of go about the same speed because we haven't been going too crazy. I do like the Carolina Panthers going with, where is this dude, Xavier Legette with the South Carolina connection. The Patriots need to add a cornerback to kind of pair with, blanking on names already. Cornerback that they drafted out of Oregon last year. Already blanking on his name, but they had Kool-Aid McKinstry in that situation. I just keep thinking of the name. I can't find it. Cardinals add another cornerback as well. This is one that I really like. I like his physicality. I think he could be a cornerback one, and they get him in round two. TJ Tampa out of Iowa State. Washington Commanders then go add a need with Jordan Morgan. A lot of tackles going super early. And they're going to go early and often in the first and second rounds. And then the first running back off the board goes to a team that really wants to run the ball with Trey Benson out of Florida State. Tennessee Titans take care of a need, but also get a very good player. First safety off the board, Tyler Nubin. Carolina Panthers get their second round pick. They add somewhat of a need, but a great player anyways with Chop Robinson out of Penn State as an edge rusher. The Commanders have their second pick already of the second round. Let's see. We got them adding Mike Sainer still. I think he just is a great fit in the cornerback room. I think he is going to be a top tier slot corner. I think Trent McDuffie in a way. I don't think they're very similar players, but I think he's going to be the best cornerback on that team, but he's going to be doing it from the slot. The Packers here add a linebacker. They did just get rid of a linebacker, so kind of makes sense for them to add in another person. Peyton Wilson doesn't have to be in right away. Just make sure your injury history is kind of cleared up and you're all good. Houston Texans, their first pick of the night, add a very interesting upside player with, where is this dude? Where is this guy at? Looking for Darius Robinson. There's no way he's 61. That's wild. All right, Falcons add a cornerback in Ennis Rakestraw Jr. Las Vegas Raiders. Let's see. Kind of a need, so a little bit of a reach here. I just couldn't see them going with anyone else at the time. So I have Kieran Amagaji out of Yale. Then we have the New Orleans Saints taking edge rusher Marshawn Nealon. Very, very interesting player. I think he's going to creep up continually. So that gives the Colts the pick of the litter. I really had a hard time passing on Keon Coleman and Xavier Worthy, but I had to go with Javon Bullard. I think he's someone that could really fit in really well with what the Colts want to do at safety. I know corner looks like the bigger need right now. I just don't think they're going for it. That gives the New York Giants a wide receiver to pair with their quarterback in Michael Penix Jr. with Keon Coleman. I think the reason why I went with him versus someone else is a lot of these other guys are slot options, and the Giants have a lot of slot options. So I want Keon Coleman to kind of diversify your wide receiver core. The Jacksonville Jaguars, let's kind of scroll here. Yeah, it's Christian Haynes, guard out of UConn, just kind of fits not necessarily like a dire need, but one of their needs because they're pretty well stocked up on positions. Cincinnati Bengals add in, let's see, Chris Jenkins out of Michigan. I think he would be a great fit for them. Philadelphia Eagles add in this dude out of Texas, Xavier Worthy. I think he will be a fun player for the Eagles to kind of work around. This gives the Pittsburgh Steelers Zach Frazier, which is kind of their bigger need, is center. So a very, very solid center goes to the Steelers. They go, tackle and center with their first picks. I think that would be a home run for them. They, do need wide receiver eventually. That's happening here too. So just hold on. Then with the Los Angeles Rams, they went edge as well, but they went with that Alabama boy in Chris Braswell. The Eagles have another pick. This is where they get a linebacker. They didn't go linebacker super early, but I do think they do need to go with the linebacker eventually. And I believe this is the Browns' first pick. Shout out Gage. This is a Ohio State boy because we all know the Browns love them. Let's go. Where did you go, dude? Go D. Bits of interior. Michael Hall Jr. That leaves the Miami Dolphins with Adisa Isaac out of Penn State. A great edge. Still has some growing to do. Cowboys take wide receiver Troy Franklin off the board. I think he kind of fits a little bit, kind of the yang to CeeDee Lamb's yin. I think he would be a great field stretcher, and they have a lot of stuff that they can do with him. Now we get to take off let's see here, Max Melton, cornerback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then we have the Packers just have a ton of top 100 picks. So we got Packers taking an offensive tackle in Patrick Paul. The Houston Texans, I think this is their second pick. Yeah, they took Darius Robinson earlier. That leaves a cornerback to be taken, and I have them taking Kamari Lassiter. I think they'll really like his smarts, his brain, everything like that. All right, now with the Buffalo Bills, we have them taking a safety out of Utah. I like Cole Bishop with part of the reason is the let's see. Yeah, Cole Bishop. Just with the way that they play, also with the outdoors, I think he's a good fit. The Detroit Lions take a defensive tackle here with Rook Ororo. Baltimore Ravens take a offensive guard. Let's see if we can get this guy, Cooper Beebe. The Niners, this is their second pick, take a wide receiver in Jalen Polk. Kansas City Chiefs finish off the second round with an edge rusher out of Oregon in holy heck, they have this guy super low. Maybe he's not even an edge. Maybe he's also defensive. Yeah, Brandon Dorless. Sorry. I think he has flexibility in that position. So, all right. So that brings us to the third round. We have Ben Sinnott going from Kansas State to the Carolina Panthers. Then we got the Arizona Cardinals going edge with Braylon Trice. Washington Commanders go safety with Cameron Kitchens. Patriots take wide receiver Enrique Pearsall. Chargers get their Michigan boy Roman Wilson, wide receiver out of Michigan. Giants, let's see who they take. They get their running back to kind of fill the shoes of Saquon Barkley. Jonathan Brooks out of Texas. Cedric Gray, linebacker, going to the Arizona Cardinals. Boom. New York Jets landing a wide receiver with Malachi Corley on the board. Lions get another pick. This one's going to be a corner. Kind of fills a little bit of a need, but Renardo Green, I think, kind of fits their mentality. Falcons taking a great player off the board, Braden Fisk. The Chicago Bears take a great linebacker, Junior Colson. I think that would be phenomenal with the head coach that they have there, who's a great linebacker coach. I forget his name, but I think he would be a good pair with their franchise linebacker that they stole from the Bills. I'm just really forgetting names right now, but we'll steamroll right through this. All right, so the Broncos on the board take Leonard Taylor. Let's see where I can find this dude at. This dude is far down on PFFs. Yeah, PFF has some just really interesting rankings. Leonard Taylor. All right, Raiders going Jatavian Sanders would be a great option for them with the tight end position. Commanders go defensive tackle. There's a lot of these defensive tackles going. Mason Smith is off the board. All right, let's kind of adjust here. Okay, Falcons up next. See if we can find this guy real quick. Man, they are just not like my dudes. Christian Mahogany, guard out of Boston College. Cincinnati Bengals, Cedric Van Pran Granger. I'll just look up this dude. Yeah, Van Pran out of Georgia would be a good offensive lineman. Seattle Seahawks linebacker Jeremiah Trotter. That gives the Colts kind of a pick that is a little wow. They have Will Shipley so low. I just think pairing him with Jonathan Taylor would be very, very electric. All right, let's move on. The Rams taking offensive tackle Roger Rosengarten out of Washington. This is where the Steelers, like I promised, got their wide receiver and Devontae Walker. I think he kind of is a field stretcher. I think he has a lot to kind of build on. Obviously, he didn't have a great Senior Bowl, but I think he can still be a very valuable wide receiver in the NFL. The Cleveland Browns go with a offensive guard. Oh my gosh, they just maybe they have him as a tackle still. Yeah, Dominic Pooney. That brings us to the Houston Texans. They take Jalen McMillan out of Washington. And a lot of Washington players going this year. Okay, so I'm going to kind of keep on going pretty quick. Linebacker for the for the Dallas Cowboys, Trevin Wallace. And then safety, Kalen Bullock to the Green Bay Packers. Another safety for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They get Dadrian Taylor Demerson. Cardinals add one of my favorite prospects in Johnny Wilson, 6'6". Green Bay Packers with yet another third-round pick add a great potential edge rusher in. Wow, this dude's fallen here too. Mohamed Kamara, another Tampa Bay Buccaneers pick. Let me scroll here on this one. They add tight end Theo Johnson, just a phenomenal athlete. Ravens add into their defensive interior with Dwayne Carter out of Duke. And then the San Francisco 49ers add in a corner here in DJ James. Bringing the Chiefs, there we go, Andrew Phillips, cornerback out of Kentucky. And this is where our compensatory picks are. We got, let's see, 5 more left. So Jacksonville Jaguars add Braylon Allen. Wow, they have him so low. Cincinnati Bengals add in safety Jaden Hicks. Steelers go defensive interior Kai Wingo. The most exciting pick of the third round goes to Spencer Rattler to the Los Angeles Rams. And then to wrap this all up, we're going to tackle Blake Fisher to the Washington Commanders. So that was hopefully quick enough. I really, really like the first round. Obviously, the biggest thing about it is all the offensive linemen going, all the quarterbacks going before pick. So half of the picks in the top 12 are quarterbacks. Basically, the other half are is offense, with the lone exception being Dallas Turner. And then we get a lot of defense at the second half. So in the second half, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 defensive players in the back half, which is not, I guess, not a lot. But there's not going to be a ton of defensive players in the first round, in my opinion. I think there's going to be a ton of offense. And then the rest of this draft is going to be fitting a lot of defense into the last couple of rounds. The reason why I don't have a ton more wide receivers going in the first round, where I feel like a lot of mock drafts that I see do, is because this tackle year is going to be one where a lot of teams are going to be able to see we got a starter in the first round. And that is huge when it comes to tackles, because when they do hit, you are saving a ton of money when you get them in the first round, but also you get to hold on to them in the fifth year option. So, thank you for sticking to the end. If you have, I really do appreciate that. We are a growing channel, so any interaction that you can do really, really helps us out. So, like, comment, subscribe helps us out. And, we're going to be putting out more videos before the draft happens and then also after. So, look for that as well. But have a good one. We'll see you on the next one.